know yesterday might have sucked for Hannity. It helped his ratings because everyone tuned in to see what creative excuse he'd come up with to explain his Michael Cohen relationship. And the answer was, it's complicated.
Let me set the record straight. Here's the truth. Michael Cohen never represented me in any legal matter. I never retained his services. I never received an invoice. I never paid Michael Cohen for legal fees. I did have occasional brief conversations with Michael Cohen. He's a great attorney, about legal questions I had, or I was looking for input and perspective.
He wasn't your lawyer. He just answered your legal questions. How do you not know the definition of lawyer when your head is shaped like a dictionary? How do you not know this? Seriously, giving legal inputs and perspective is exactly what a lawyer does. Hannity might as well have come out and said, he was just my lawyer, but just a tip, guys, just a tip. Now, what people are really wondering is this. Whatever legal advice was, why didn't Hannity get it from his regular attorney? Right? Instead of turning to a guy who's specifically known for paying off mistresses. Why did he go to him? But according to Hannity, baby, this is not what it looks like.
To be absolutely clear, they never involved any matter, sorry to disappoint so many, matter between me or third party, a third group at all. And my questions exclusively almost focused on real estate.
Wow, he really slipped in the almost there. Did you hear it? Yeah, it was super quick. It was super quick. He was like, all my questions to Michael Cohen were exclusively almost real estate. Exclusively almost. Exclusively almost. Yeah, he sounds like the voice at the end of those medical ads. Zernax is exclusively almost side effect free. Exclusively almost. You can't say exclusively almost. Exclusively almost is the kind of phrase that makes people ask more questions. If someone tells you that they exclusively almost have sex with adults, you're not hiring them to babysit your kids. That's not what you're thinking of right now. But okay, fine. Hannity claims he was just getting some informal real estate advice from Michael Cohen, which makes what he said a few hours earlier on his radio show all the more confusing.
I never gave him a retainer, never received an invoice, never paid any fees. You know, I might have handed him $10. I definitely want you attorney-client privilege on this, something like that.
Okay, whoa, whoa. Okay, wait. So he's not your lawyer. All you had was a few chit-chats about real estate. But you definitely want attorney-client privilege. Yeah, you definitely want that. What the f*** did you bury under that house? No, I'm just saying, I've had a lot of conversations about real estate. At the end of it, I never went, this never happened. And you know what gets me is how casually Hannity is trying to minimize his connection to Michael Cohen, like it means nothing. Especially when every other day of the year, he's the guy who can bake a conspiracy cake out of nothing more than an egg and the word Hillary.
Let's talk about a family responsible for actual crimes. We'll call it the head of the notorious political cabal. Of course, Bill and Hillary Clinton, the Clinton crime family. If we're going to go to crime families, let's look at the Mueller crime family. And, well, this is near and dear to Comey's heart. We'll call it the Comey crime family.
I like how Hannity puts a question mark at the end of each one just to cover his ass. He's like, I didn't say Mueller runs a crime family. I just said Mueller runs a crime family? Well, you know what, folks? I have a theory of my own. And I honestly think that it's going to bust this whole Hannity-Michael Cohen story wide open. Get ready to have your minds blown. Because I believe I've uncovered a complex criminal network. My theory is that Sean Hannity is a client of Michael Cohen. Look, we may never know the true nature of Hannity and Cohen's relationship, but what we do know is that as someone is discussing Cohen and his case on the air, Hannity should have been more transparent, right? He should have said something about it. In fact, what Hannity did was so shady. Even when he tried to talk about other things on his show, his own guests had to call him out. And please, do enjoy.
A foreign national using Russian sources of all things to get it. Is that a crime in Alan Dershowitz's book?
Well, first of all, Sean, I do want to say that I really think that you should have disclosed your relationship with Cohen when you talked about him on this show. I think it would have been much, much better had you disclosed that relationship. You were in a difficult situation,
If you understand
obviously.
the nature of it, Professor, I'm going to deal with this later in the show.
No, I understand.
It was minimal. I put out a statement about it.
You should have said that, and that would have been fair to say that it was minimal.
That's
Look,
fine.
You had the right, by the way, not to have your identity
I have the right to
revealed.
privacy.
Right.
I do.
But, you know, it's a complex situation when you're speaking to millions of people.
Professor, it was such a minor relationship in terms of...
You should have said that.
You should have said that. You should have said that. You should have said that. That was priceless. And keep in mind, this guy, Alan Dershowitz, he isn't a hater, right? He's been a vocal defender of President Trump and a frequent guest on Hannity's show. Like, that's how you know that this is bad for Hannity. He's getting called out by someone on his own team. You know what this reminded me of? It reminded me of that one deleted scene from Star Wars when the stormtroopers called out their boss.
Now we can finally destroy the rebels.
Sir, real quick. We all think you should have disclosed your relationship with Luke Skywalker.
What? I barely know the guy. He's not even my son. It's more like a baby mama thing.
Sir, you should have told us.
This isn't a big deal. I have a right to privacy.
If it wasn't a big deal, why didn't he tell us? What a dick.
Yeah, it's true. That scene was exclusively almost from Star Wars.